Okay, students, welcome to our lesson 10 under the writing process. Last time in our previous lesson, lesson number 9, we were looking at outlining an essay. Now today in our lesson 10, we are going to look at introductions and conclusions, because now we are aware that an essay has introduction, it has conclusion. But how do we write these very important paragraphs that introduce the essay and also end the essay? So in this lesson, you will learn about the purpose of an introduction to an essay. Number 2, you will learn about types of information in the introductions, the type of information we have to put in our introductions. Then, number 3, you will also learn the purpose of a conclusion. What's the purpose of a conclusion? Can we have an essay without a conclusion? The answer would be automatically no. Now, number 4, we are going to learn about techniques for writing conclusions. You see, you have to be technical. You don't just conclude. How do you conclude is very important. So those are the 4 key areas we are going to cover in this lesson. So let us first of all start with the importance of introduction and conclusions. So do we need introduction and conclusions? Yes, we need them. So in lesson 8, if you remember, it explained that the introduction and conclusion are 2 of the 3 main parts of an essay. We said that because we said an essay has 3 parts: introduction, main body, and the conclusion. So introduction and conclusions are key or main parts, part of the main parts of an essay. So what am I saying? Without an introduction and a conclusion, an essay is just a group of paragraphs. You see, a group of paragraphs does not really qualify to be an essay unless it will clearly give us introduction, main body, and conclusion. That is when it qualifies to be an essay. So I'm saying the introduction and the conclusion work together to make the topic and main ideas of the essay clear to the reader. It makes the topic and the main ideas of the essay clear to the reader. How? Let us start with the introduction. Then somebody would be asking, what is an introduction? An introduction to a paragraph is the first, an introduction to an essay is the first paragraph of an essay. As you learned in lesson 8, is called the introduction. So the introduction has the following characteristics. That's the introduction paragraph has the following characteristics. It's usually 5 to 10 sentences. You remember when I was teaching about a paragraph, I said, fine, you can, academic paragraph should have at least 5 sentences and above. This introduction catches the reader's interest. It must catch the reader's interest. It also gives the general topic of the essay. Why does it give the general topic of the essay? It's because the main body will explain further. It gives the background information about the topic. That's true. And then lastly, it states the main point. That's the thesis statement of the essay. So I'm saying that the introduction of an essay, it has a thesis statement, a very important sentence, which, as I said before, it comes almost to the end of that first paragraph, meaning this introduction paragraph. So, the introduction, yes, the introduction is often organized by giving the most general ideas first, then leading to the most specific idea, which is the thesis statement. So in the introduction paragraph, when you look at its topic sentence, it's very general. You come to its supporting sentences, they are moving towards specific because they are now explaining the topic sentence. But then when you arrive to the thesis statement, everything is now very specific. Yes. So, how to write a strong introduction? Yes, we write introductions, but the question here is, how do you, or is your introduction strong or it is weak? So a strong introduction must have the following characteristics. It introduces the topic clearly, precise, to the point. Then also it gives several sentences of information about the topic, meaning strong supporting sentences about the topic. Then it states the thesis, the main idea of the essay. So a strong introduction must state the main idea of the whole essay, what we are calling the thesis statement. Now, any of the following will make an introduction weak, meaning what we are going to look at below can make the introduction weak. If it doesn't give enough information about the topic or give too much information about it, that is a weak introduction. Also, if it talks about too many different topics, it's a weak introduction. It's supposed to talk about one main topic. But when you find it's talking about many, then that is a weak introduction. It does not state a clear thesis. If in that introduction paragraph you are not seeing the thesis statement clearly stated, then that is a weak introduction. Let us look at types of information that can make an introduction interesting. So to make an introductory paragraph interesting for the reader, you can include the following: interesting facts or statistics. Because you see, your topic is an opinion, but you see, readers are interested. Fine, they understand your opinion, but they want to see interesting facts and statistics that support what you want them to believe in. Another thing is a personal story or example. You see, when you are introducing, you can use a personal story or an example that is related to what you are saying. Like if you are talking about people who don't like solving problems when they are still small and wait when they are big and they are unable even to solve them, you can bring in a stitch in one is better than 9, yeah, something like that. So, or if you don't, you just give an example that is related to what you are talking about, because this example makes the information last on the reader's mind longer, and it makes what you are teaching or what you are communicating practical. That's why it is important to use a personal story which is practical, even if you will have just imagine and even giving examples. Then an interesting quotation. Like if you are talking about a given political theme and you remember long ago politicians who spoke, like if you remember anything Martin Luther King spoke, yeah? But make sure you quote what was spoken that is relevant to what you are saying, or it can make what you are saying more palatable. Let us move to the conclusion. Now, when we come to conclusion, let us see the importance of a conclusion. The conclusion is the final paragraph of the essay. A good concluding paragraph must have the following characteristics, must show these characteristics. Summarizes the main points of the essay, meaning what has been discussed in the main body. It also restates the thesis using different words. Yes. Then also, it makes a final comment about the essay's main idea. It must make a comment. Then also, it may emphasize an action that you would like the reader to take. And lastly, it does not introduce new ideas in a conclusion. That is a very good conclusion. So don't introduce new ideas in the conclusion, that is it. A conclusion only restates, gives further commentary on ideas discussed in the essay. That is what we are supposed to know. So this is a very brief lesson. And now, as my custom, I'm going to give you two more proverbs. So we are moving to proverb number 5 and number 6. So proverb number 5, it says, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Yes. Meaning, one weak part will render the whole thing weak. So, example, no matter how confident the team is, it is as strong as its weakest link, its defense. So, when we have a team of 11 players on the field, and we have 10 strong players and one weak player, if you are asked to tell the strength of this team, the strength of this team is as the weakest player of that team. Proverb number 6. Actions speak louder than words. Actions are a better reflection of one's character because it's easy to say things, but difficult to act on them and follow through. So for example, I can say, Ivana always says she'll donate to the school and she never does. So I doubt she will this year. Why? Actions speak louder than words after all. So students, thank you very much for attending to this lesson. And now I come to the end of this lesson. I hope it has been very important to you, especially when looking at the introduction and conclusion of essays. So it is very important to note that without introduction paragraph, without conclusion paragraph, whatever group of paragraphs you have, they don't really qualify to make what we are calling an essay. So an essay is properly demarcated when we have an introduction and a conclusion. So thank you very much, and let's meet in our next lesson, lesson 11. Otherwise, thank you and bye. Thank you and bye.